There's something very alluring about the Ford Focus. It's been on sale for almost 25 years now in one form or another. And if you look at the sales figures of just this year, just 2023 so far, Ford have sold almost twice the amount of Golfs that Volkswagen have sold. Now, it's not as straightforward as that because it's hard to work out exactly how many ID3 sales have taken away from Golf sales. But the other point is, if you go down through the list of the top style of cars, you see T-Rocks and Pumas way up above hatchbacks, and the Ford Focus is one of those cars, a bit like the Toyota Corolla, that's still hanging on there in hatchback form. The other thing that's a little bit unheard of is you can buy one of these from €32,000, which by today's prices seems like a bit of a bargain. Now, if you want this ST Line X version, it's going to cost you the guts of 37. But for that, you get red brake calipers, you get better looking alloy wheels, you get nicer interior. Just look at those driver seats, the perforated leather steering wheel, this really cool shiny silver gear knob, and the kind of intriguing looking twin exhaust pipe that comes in the back. All that said, it's just a 1 litre EcoBoost engine, but actually it's great fun to drive. In this version, you've got blind spot here, keyless entry, privacy glass, nicer rear clusters on the lights, boot spoiler, which turns into the boot then, that is actually very usable as a hatchback goes. There's an actual spare wheel, and there's a little hint of the mild hybrid technology that you can get in the Focus now, 48 volt, which helps from pulling away from lights and assists the stop start and stuff like that. There's also ski hatch access in the back of the car, and it's just good, solid hatchback motoring. And I think what I'm trying to say is, in this world of obsession with crossovers and SUVs, if you don't need the higher seating position, because this is quite low to the ground, if you don't necessarily need that slightly bigger boot, then a hatchback is more fun to drive. Still plenty of leg room in the back of the Focus, space for child seats. It's a little bit dark, there's a little bit of stuff for charging, foot room and leg room. Very, very decent, very, very usable. And when you jump inside to the driver's area, you definitely feel the sportiness in the ST version of the car. What you now get in here is a 13-inch plus screen that, yes, sits there, but isn't as big as some of the monstrosities that you get in cars today. You get this faux carbon fiber, you get physical buttons for lots of things, and although they're behind the screen, the buttons here are always at the bottom to adjust your air conditioning and your heated seats. And the resolution of this is brilliant, as is the driver instrument cluster. I love this gear shifter. It just makes you feel like you're going faster. It just works. A few more shortcuts down here. An engine stop-start button, red stitching on your steering wheel with lovely perforation around the side. There's kind of Vignale seats spec going on here. So there's a Vignale sticker tag on the side, and that lends itself into the inside of the door cards. You really do sit low. There's a good bit of seat adjustment, but I like sitting low. This one has electric seats, so you can tweak them within an inch of their life, and you just feel like you're connected with the car. And this is my point. A lot of times with cars, now you're just driving something because it's higher up, because it's got a bit more space, because it's the one everyone else is buying. But actually, if you enjoy driving, you've got to revisit the idea of a hatchback, because they're just more fun. Notwithstanding, this isn't the entry level of Focus, which is fair enough, but it's still from the same foundation of car. And if you want to spend the extra €5,000 to get into the ST version of it, I think it's worth it, because the whole package, it looks so much better. A little bit of lowering going on just makes it handle that bit better. You've got a gorgeous head-up display which works. Yeah, it's a pop-up screen, which I'm never a massive fan of, but again, this isn't a €60,000 German premium saloon. You can get a 7-speed automatic. I love this manual. It's 6-speed. The shift is short on it. You can cane this thing, and you're not really going to get into trouble speed-wise, but it just feels like you're involved in the car. The way it goes into corners is fantastic. And remember, this is a 1 litre, non-specific hot hatch version of this car. but it still delivers so much performance, so much fun. You can rev the nuts off it. It's so low to the ground. It's got a great center of gravity. The brakes are good. And you'll just want to drive this car on. And it's like going back to what people like me were fans of cars for many years, and a little bit of that is missing. And to find this in a 37,000 euro little gem of a Ford Focus has just been a lot of fun this week. The handling is sharp, the steering is direct. It'll still do 7 litres per 100 kilometers if you really push it on. But it's an actual joy to drive. You can wheel spin the front tires. That's not always possible anymore, and when it happens, it's not when you want it. It's in an EV, which has too much torque going through the front wheels. There's even a little bit of a gurgle from the exhaust. Not necessarily when you're driving it, but if you're standing at the back of it, there's a little bubble, a little hum going on there. And all that driving fun is coming out of a car that never feels overly firm. The alloy and tire size is just right. It's just got a perfect balance to it. And then of course, when you just aren't in the mood, you can slowly take it easy. Just avoiding a pigeon there. It's the kind of guy I am. So it's just a great little all-rounder. Yeah, it's not gonna win any awards for performance from this 1 litre, but it's got a good balance of economy, and then when you do want to wind it up a little bit, there's something there for you. Like, here's a series of turns here now. 4th gear, I don't need to slow down, just turn into it. And it grips very well. It grips like something that is a proper hot hatch, albeit a 1 litre. And for that, I've just got to tell you, it's great fun to be behind the wheel of. And all that performance, if that's the right word, and drivability never comes at a cost of the suspension. It's still well balanced. It never feels particularly harsh. It's smooth enough. There's a good balance between the alloy size and the profile and the tires. So it's comfortable. It's kind of got everything. I would probably struggle to tell you when was the last time I had a bit of crack like this in a car that only costs 37,000 euro. Yep, just a few short years ago, this version, an ST, would probably have cost you maybe 34, maybe 35 at tops. They've all crept up. But I think Irish consumers are seeing a little bit of value in the Focus, which is why you're still seeing it, not exactly up the top, but in a food chain of cars that are electric, that are more expensive, that are more SUV-like and crossover-like. And it's sitting in there because it's good. In the world of never-ending EVs now, and Ford have the Explorer coming before the end of the year, it's been really refreshing to get into, albeit a 1 litre petrol car that does 700 kilometers without having to stop for a charge, that looks really good and drives incredibly well. The only kind of negative side I can find from this car, that just makes me wonder if Ford had put something more potent under the bonnet, what would it be like? Because it would still probably be decent value, and it's just so good to drive. The Focus, in my opinion, is one of the best hatches on sale today. And it's just a pity that fashion, I suppose, has dictated that so many people will overlook a car like this just because it's not a crossover. And that's a real shame. Really do appreciate you coming with me this far in the video today. If you'd like to support us, buymeacoffee.com/NobbyOnCars. You can tip us just €5. Really does help support the channel, reinvest the money to buying more gear, going away on trips, bringing you more content basically. So thank you if you've ever tipped, and thank you if you've subscribed. Really do appreciate it. And thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.